hello. That's one for each of you. So far, there are only 5 people watching. So, hello to everybody. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these amazing and wonderful people have come to join me in a game of Dungeons and Dragons or something kind of like it. For the virtual, let's get all this, the credit where credit is due first out of here. The virtual tabletop of choice is Roll20. The module that we're playing was Storm King's Thunder, but for the next several weeks at least, we're going to see nothing of it but a small section of the map. Everything else is off book, as they say. The art, the maps themselves in game, plus the overlay that we're playing through, is all from the module that I purchased for real on Roll20, paid good money for it. So we're using the art. And then we had our very own art director, Thunderscape 7, cut holes in it so they could see through it, so they could see us when we're playing this. Dirty 20 Rowdy Squad has arrived. That's us up to 6. The club is 1 person, apparently. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it all. The rest of you are already here. And I'm going to mention a map-making software that I used. We're not going to see the maps tonight, but within the next couple of weeks, we're going to. So I'm good. Oh, thank you, Thunderscape, for the resub. 11 months, almost a year. Thank you. But we will be seeing over the course of the next couple of weeks Dungeon Draft maps. I don't like making maps because it takes a long time, but this sounds like the worst ad ever, but it really doesn't in Dungeon Draft. There's one feature called scatter, and you just pick something and you go bang, 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 and it goes all over the map in all different sizes, and it's wonderful. Makes it very, very quick to populate dungeons, which is what I did. So I made 2 maps in less time than it took me to write down what was actually in them. So we'll see those in the next couple of weeks. You may have noticed a new player here this evening and a space in the top row. Scarred will be back next week. Remember that. We're going to do a scene at the start that's going to make you cry, but Scarred will be back next week, so read what you need to into that. I just made it weirder instead of better. We do have a new player, but we're going to get to them last because that's how I always do this. They're joining us as a guest. But first, let's start with the regulars, the irregular regulars. Let's start with the person that has brought us Idicus and the madness and the innocence and the killing machine all in one tiny metal body with one little goblin eye. Sarah, thank you so much for Idicus. And what else are you doing that you're allowed to talk about?
That I'm allowed to talk about? Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah.
I'm busy working on the stuff that I can't talk about.
Excellent.
But I do have a YouTube channel, Tangor Productions, over on YouTube. I'm also a writer at the Scarred Adventurer blog. So yeah, if you want to see some of the other stuff I've done.
And other than that, you have to show up every single week until they can finally talk about what they never can talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool when I can.
Oh, it always is. It always is.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to move along playing the increasingly deep Bickford Barkswipe. Thank you very, very much for joining us again. The mighty Bison Stonefist, who appeared last week eponymously in the game. I think so. Yeah, in the form of a name. There were bison attacking last week. I think I used that right, and if not, at least it's a big word, so it sounded smart. But thank you for joining us, Bison. You could talk about what you do. Do that.
Yeah, there's stuff I can't talk about, but whatever. And the things I can talk about is my Twitch channel. I do stream video games. I'm okay at it. Last week I was trying to get myself an iguana in Cyberpunk 2077. Turns out I was using the wrong kind of car. I'm going to try and get that car tonight and try again.
Oh man!
Break into Arasaka.
So that was that the 60 gig download so you could get an iguana?
It's one of the things. There's a
That's-
lot of
That
a
seems
lot
like
of
inefficient programming.
not the only thing I can get. Definitely not the only thing.
Solid
There's
gold
like-
iguana that automatically wins you everything in the game. Anyway, you said later tonight. You doing it after we're done here?
Later
or
tonight? No, that's not. No, later this week.
later this week. That's what I thought.
Tuesday. Yeah,
All right.
that's,
So
that's when I
Tuesday.
stream.
There you go. Tuesday nights. Excellent. Thank you.
I am a professional.
Yeah. Nobody here is a professional. They wouldn't have stuck around for any length of time.
Close enough.
Oh, I dread this next question. I dread it every week. Oh, Solar Dasher, have you streamed this week?
No, but there was a good reason for it.
There's always a good reason for it.
No, this time I was at a baby shower.
Excellent. Okay, that is a good reason. So at least you had fun.
So, I'm gonna try next week, but again, no guarantees. My Twitch is right there, Solar_Dasher.
Yes.
Yay! I also still have my own little role play, which is kind of still on hold because I've just been drained from work a lot. So that's that. So most of the time when I'm not here, I'm working.
Well, we are going to let you bring out the wolf tonight. I realized earlier today you are a wolf in wolf's clothing now. So, yeah.
I didn't
thank
want
you.
to change his clothing. I just loved it.
No, oh, it's perfect. And I talked to the other ones about this. Thank you for bringing this character, this stalwart hero, the old school hero who just like headlong into danger and solved the problem. I really appreciate Beowulf a lot. Which brings us at long length, because God, can I talk. Oh, our new guest for this week and for the next couple of weeks. Ruth, thank you so much for joining us, first of all. We're going to get to your character as soon as we get into the game. I don't want to spoil anything before then, but as I understand it, you are very busy in the real world, but you have not chosen to join some of us in the sort of digital escapades that we spew forth every week. So I won't ask you where you're streaming. But thank you very, very much for joining us. Thank you for making this character on relatively short notice. And thank you also for helping me build the backstory that went along, build on your backstory, I should say, that allowed us to work this seamlessly into this plotless story that we're going to call a plot. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for joining us, first of all.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you are very, very welcome, because also this means I get to make my little bravery speech again. Some of us do this every week. Some of us, when we're back to full speed, are going to be doing this like 3 times a week, streaming stuff. It's easy to forget how terrifying it can be, how absolutely frightening it can be to come out here and basically improv for 2 hours at a time off the top of your head in front of people watching. I know everybody watching is our friend, but still, there's a little spark of terror, and I appreciate everybody that shows up every week to do it, and I especially appreciate the new people that come in and do it with us for the first time. Because you may have played D&D before, but you probably haven't played it quite like this. So, with that, we're going to start. We're going to start with a little bit of retcon.
Again.
and a reminder. Yes, we do this occasionally because it needs to be done. And a reminder, Scarred is coming back next week. Having said that, Iticus, you basically fished Zulthus out of the stampede of bison after he more or less threw you into it. You felt the arms of Alan wrap around you and act as an anchor that allowed you, tiny little Iticus floating in midair, to heave big, compared to you, Zulthus, out from the mass of animals. Because you're high up, you're the only one that can see off in the distance. One of them runs into a gully, falls, hits the ground on the far side, and explodes in a fireball. A couple of others, as they hit the tree line and start a fire along the side of the trees. You kind of register that, but it's way far away in unimportant land because Zulthus isn't moving. He's hanging off the end of this rope like dead weight. You pull him close, put your hand on him. There's no pulse, but you don't know if he has one. It's Zulthus. You feel the squirming worms underneath the now filthy and bedraggled clothes that were so white just a moment ago. There's no response. The other two of you, Bickford and Beowulf, see this tableau hanging in midair. Somehow Idicus is flying. You can't see Alan. Somehow they're holding up what appears for all the world to be the corpse of Zulthus. Idicus, what do you do?
I remember that Bickford can heal, right?
Bickford can heal, yes.
As soon as I touch the ground, I'm as loud as I can. Bickford, Bickford, Bickford.
And trying to drag Zulthus, I'm assuming, in the direction of Bickford.
Mm-hmm.
Bickford,
I'm coming. Because I was already making
you're
my way.
pounding across this yard. I just want to quickly remind you two, you did a heal for the very first time just very recently.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was quite what you expected. The god used you like a finger puppet.
Yeah. It's a little weird, but Zulthus is my friend.
Absolutely. You
And
skid to a stop beside him on one knee heroically.
take Zulthus and kind of like cradle him in my arms and try to find the biggest wound while my other hand is glowing green, smelling
He's
vaguely of pine.
it takes a while to figure out what the wound counts as on Zulthus, because you're close enough and the clothes are ripped enough and filthy enough and torn enough that you can see he's basically made of semi-corporeal worms that swirl and swarm into shapes and make arms and legs. And it takes a while to figure out what damage looks like on this, but what it looks like is the worms in those areas aren't moving. And none of the worms are moving.
Fix. You fix.
I switch gears and try and cast Spare the Dying.
It doesn't work. You go through you somehow know the speech. I mean, it's a cantrip. They probably taught you in Sunday school or Tuesday school or whatever day it is the bugbears do it. This is a simple one. It means more now because you've just recently essentially taken an oath as a cleric. But it doesn't work.
I promise. I promise.
I know.
You fix.
I can't. I don't know how.
That is canon. Zulthus cannot be healed by healing spells, only by rest.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed that Bickford knew that. I also assumed that Idicus didn't, which is why this scene played out this way, right?
So yeah, he's just Bickford's not sure what to do. He sits there for a moment. The gears are clearly grinding, and he casts Mending to clean the clothes up.
Technically not, but yes, I love the thought. I'll turn mending into prestidigitation for this.
Well,
Absolutely.
it's not that they're clean, but
No.
it's the tears. The tears are
They're,
gone.
they're ripping the tears, and I'm going to give you the prestidigitation effect as well, because for me, you were kind of preparing him for a burial, which is a
Yeah.
very cleric-y thing to do, or at least a ceremony of some sort. I don't know what his people do, whether they bury their worms. Oh, if they bury their worms, do tiny people grow through them when they leave them there for a long period of time? Never mind.
Bugbears leave the bodies to the elements.
Yes. Either way, so yes, you're going through that process. So yes, I will give you free prestidigitation effects. By the time you're done, he's back in his white clothing, except for the jacket that he threw away that had the big burn mark on it. So he's got like a vest and pants and everything. And it's all white again, and it's all fixed again. He himself inside is a pulped mess, but the clothes look as good as they get. He's already got that kind of shapeless black form to him. It's just more shapeless and less form. Beowulf, I want to get your take on this before I take the next step.
Well, once he hears Idicus yelling for Bigford,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna let Bigford lead the main, and he's just gonna kind of follow behind. Once he's gonna stand near Idicus and just watch Bigford what he does.
Yep.
Once Bigford mentions that he can't do anything, he's just gonna let out a long, mournful howl,
Perfect.
just letting out some of his sorrow. His hand would be either, depending on how far down Beowulf could reach, either on
As far as you
Idicus'
need
shoulder
to.
or head.
Okay. The three of you.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Idicus. Go.
Idicus is going to like clench the lock at this point, and just kind of very quietly in Goblin, he's just saying, "I tried, I tried,
I know.
I tried."
Bickford, you've got him in your arms, right?
Yeah.
As you cast that last little bit of the spell, and you clean up that last little bit of him, he starts to shrink.
I'm not doing this.
And smaller. He starts to look like his skin you couldn't really see before. It was sort of a non-presence in clothes. That was kind of his thing. It's now more like felt and satin. And he continues to shrink, and his arms starting to stiffen, and his legs starting to stiffen, and his little head comes up and stares at a kind of a slightly weird angle up.
Sort of pick it up as it
Keeps shrinking
shrinks to
and
hand
keeps shrinking
size.
and stops. It's a Fred of Zultus. A puppet. No, wrong word. A Zulthus bear. No, Idicus, you make these. What is a Fred?
They're Freds.
They're Freds. Yes. Why am I trying to define something that already has a name? They're Freds. They look kind of like that, except they look exactly. This one looks exactly like a little cloth Zulthus. It's not gone. There's a spark in it.
Idicus is going to take off the locket and put it on the Zolthus Fred doll,
Hmm.
and kind of jump up from Bigford and put it in his bag. I promise to protect. I protect.
That works
Freds help
perfectly.
Freds.
Freds help Freds. Thank you. Meanwhile, no, Idicus, you had something else to say?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Meanwhile, a couple miles away, Kane, you know you're getting close. You're in this warm valley now. That dragon's got to be here. That lair has to be here. What you need has to be here. You've heard the dragon roar a couple times over the last few hours. So you know they're kind of down at that end of the valley somewhere. That makes sense. What doesn't make a lot of sense is up the valley the other way. Just a couple miles away from you, you hear a little while later. Those last three, you look and you can see three tiny fireballs just sort of above the trees in the distance. What do you do?
I'm gonna go towards the explosions.
Okay. You start making your way that way, and give me, because I like to do this, give me a wisdom check. Not a save, just a straight wisdom roll as you're heading in that direction. You're moving through the trees.
Oh, that was a saving throw.
That's all good. We'll take it.
I had one job.
Oh, that didn't show up.
Nope.
And it's okay. What did you roll? We'll figure it out later.
Ah,
There it is. There it is.
why?
It finally showed up. Okay. There we go. A 12. Okay.
It
Um,
was. I was still rolling through for the
That's
wrong
all-
thing. What am I doing?
No problem at all. You failed the wisdom save and then apparently stabbed yourself with a dagger by rolling a 1, but we won't go there.
Okay.
Just got that one out of the way.
I did it.
You,
Yay.
well, I want to, oh, look at that. That's even better. You are making your way through the forest. I'd like to tell me, first of all, if I was a little camera hovering in the trees when you went past, what would I see visually?
You would see this tiefling. You can't quite tell if she's purple or if she is any color. She is this mauve-ish kind of tone, but more gray set. Her color is hard to decipher. It's quite muted. And she has long black hair and is wearing a mostly black outfit as she wields a dagger on her hip. She is about 5'9", and she has pure white eyes.
As you move through this forest, it's a pine forest, so there's very little undergrowth just from your height, sort of. It's just trunks of trees with a huge canopy of pine needles overhead. Are you sticking to the shadows primarily, or are you just making a beeline?
I'm sticking to the shadows primarily.
Okay.
Until I see anything that sparks my interest.
As you start to get closer and closer, there's the first thing you sense is sort of a feeling. We're going to give you that 16 and pretend all the rest of it didn't happen.
I'm sorry.
No, welcome to the game. This is how we do this. We roll until the number we want comes up, and then we tell a story.
Or until you press the right buttons.
Yes, there's always that. But I was going to give you a nice cover story. But anyway, as you move through the trees, you get this feeling, which is weird, all in itself. It's a tension. It's not your feeling that you're maybe it's because of certain things in your past that you're aware enough that ahead of you something is occurring that is very important. And it allows you to slow in your approach a little bit so that they do not see you. They're completely distracted. When you get to the edge of this clearing, the ground is churned. This used to be a grass clearing, you can tell. It is churned from one end to the other by hoof prints. There's burning remains of bushes and bits of fur all around this clearing. And right out there in the middle of it, where nobody should have survived, there are 3 people. One kneeling, one sort of sitting on his ass, and a very short one standing. What do you do?
I'm going to slowly walk towards, not more so just wanting to observe
Mhm.
and see what's going on.
Who's got the best passive perception of the three of you? I think, yeah, it was Bickford, right? Was yours like 18 or some ridiculous thing like that? 19? Oh, lovely. Okay, no sneaking past you. Because you sort of like walked out and looked, this feels like a funeral. Kane, this scene that you're seeing. It might be small and you don't see a body, but this feels like somebody just died. Bickford, you hear a crack behind you, and you look, and this tiefling is standing there against the green background. This sort of hard to see character.
He sort of gets up. Well, sort of gets up. He gets up slow-ish, not to like spook the tiefling or anything. While looking down at Idicus, he says to Beowulf and Idicus, "We got eyes on us over that way." And he turns and looks up. Now, Bickford is 2 feet taller than Kane. So is this big ass bugbear standing in the middle of the field. Kind of looks like a tree.
Big old bugbear.
Yeah.
Like older than any bugbear you've ever seen. And if you don't mind me adding it, he looks beat up. Not physically necessarily, just he's had a whole bunch of not very good days in a row. Is pretty obvious.
He's had a
They
week.
all have as you look around this circle. Beowulf?
Beowulf, I'm assuming that I was gonna roll perception, but then you just did what you did, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume eventually he does hear Kane approaching.
Oh yeah.
His ears are gonna perk up under the hood.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stand up and turn around to face the tiefling. He's just gonna look, be on his guard, but he's not gonna attack or say anything or even growl. He's just gonna look at it.
Well, for clarity's sake, for Kane, this is a wolf-human hybrid in wolves' furs. Also large, not quite as large as Bigfoot, I don't think, but close.
He's more on the medium side.
Yeah,
I think I was looking, and yeah, he's 6'5".
yeah. Bigfoot's almost 8 feet, right?
7'9", yeah.
7'9". So yeah, they're both big. They're big and bigger, right? Good thing I didn't say Dumb and Dumber. I would have had to explain which one was dumber. And last but definitely not least, Idicus, you turn. You and your friends just had this sort of moment. You see the tiefling.
Idicus is going to make sure that like he can't be seen because he still hasn't put his bandages on.
Yes.
But he's gonna walk right over to the tiefling, with Fred out, and just, and keeping his face down too.
Yeah.
He's making sure not to be seen. Fred.
Let's call that a stealth check. Let's play some D&D. You roll stealth, and let's have Kane roll a perception against that to see how well you. I mean,
Oh.
yeah, you're good. So,
We'll see.
yeah, it's always possible.
You'd be surprised. There's very rare times that Idicus gets caught.
Nope, not this time.
Well,
Oh,
stop. Did I roll again? I'm
You did.
sorry.
Okay.
Damn it.
That's okay. You do a double take and still don't get it. You roll twice and fail twice.
Damn. How
although
could
that's
this
okay.
have happened?
This is a goblin, as far as you're concerned, Kane. This is a goblin in a robe, holding out a homemade teddy bear and asking. I say asking. It's one word, but there's clearly goes up at the end. Fred?
I like your doll. Fred.
Okay.
And Idicus will, and so you'll actually see his hand.
I was going to
It's
say
metal and wood and kind of other, basically junk. And he puts his hand out and like for you to hold it.
She's gonna grab it. Her expression is sort of unchanging.
And he just walks you back to the group.
Beowulf's a little bit
She's
more on
just
guard.
gonna go with.
Yeah. Yeah, the dog is not entirely convinced yet. Bigford, you're kind of the balance of power right now, right? You got one that doesn't trust and one that heard the word Fred, so we're all good.
Bickford's gonna look at Idicus and ask him in Goblin, "Did you make a friend?"
I think so. They say they're okay.
And that is fully in Goblin.
Right. Kane, do you speak Goblin?
No, I do
think
not.
so. No, it seemed like an unlikely thing, but I thought I'd ask. So yeah, they mutter back. and
Four
forth.
languages, Goblin is not one of them.
That's why this has worked so well so far. Only the two of them. It's like a secret language. So yes,
Drives Zulthus insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Zolthus is dead. Don't worry about it. It's so nice to be able to make fun of it. Nobody's going to be back. That's all out of character.
Freddy
Be sad.
Bear.
Be sad. In character, be sad. So there's that sort of moment where you have to recover, the three of you. And Kane, all of a sudden, you're part of a group now, maybe? But you all look the same way down the valley. The way you heard the dragon noises from. The only way out of this valley, as far as any of you know. Unless you want to go out onto the glaciers again.
Yeah, nope.
Everything on the hoof in this valley explodes when attacked. So you haven't eaten since you've been here. And you're still at least 2 days' march from the mountain that you think might be where you're going to have to deal somehow with Clouth.
Bickford's going to give a very exhausted sigh, sort of look at Kane, and go, "Well, if the kid thinks you're okay, then there's got to be something to it. I'm Bickford."
I'm Kane.
Idicus.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes.
Idicus, it's nice to meet you. And she's just gonna
And then-
slightly
yeah.
look
Yeah.
to Beowulf.
Mm-hmm.
None of your damn business. And he starts walking off.
I respect it.
I like that.
She, one big thing about Kane is you guys can tell she's not really phased by much, and her expression is kind of unwavering.
Absolutely. Beowulf, you stormed off. You get to this little cliff. There's a drop off. You're so angry and so untrusting and so hurt and so in pain that you almost walk right off of it. But you skid to a stop on the edge of it. And you look up and it gives you a really good view down the valley. And you know that the rest of this group is behind you and below you. They can't see this. Way in the distance, you see a mountain and you see smoke coming out of the mountain. It's a From this distance, and with the sun going down behind it, it looks red, the whole mountain. It smokes and smolders in a permanently gray, ash-ridden cloud that surrounds it. You can tell
my
it.
allergies.
It is clearly volcanic. It looks like a volcano, and it is clearly volcanic, but you can tell as you're watching, there's from this distance a tiny spark of flame. But to be seen from this far away, it must be huge, venting out of the side. And you realize that most of the smoke, steam, and fiery emanations tonight are not coming from the volcano. They're coming from a dragon in a volcano.
He's going to let out a slur of curses in Infernal,
Yep.
not knowing if anybody else in the group can understand it.
Yeah, are we able to hear?
If it was a string of curses, and Beowulf's got to set along, so yeah, they're not that far away. So yes, if you hear Infernal, you hear some rudeness.
Basically,
I do
he's
know Infernal.
yelling.
Okay.
He's yelling at the dragon, just different curse words, and basically tell him to go take a long walk off a short pier, little this and that. It's like he's just like pissed off at the world at the moment.
Just having a good yell down the valley.
I
Hey,
think your
yes.
guys' friend found something. And
Or he's just having
they
a
don't sound too happy about it.
He does this.
Just scream at the world?
Yeah. I don't know what he's saying.
I understand. I do.
Oh,
Sounds mad.
sounds about right.
A lot of cursing.
Mhm.
Do they do this often?
Mhm.
Yeah. He's got a bit of a temper.
Noted.
And don't worry, this is normal.
Yeah, I like that.
So if you don't mind, we haven't eaten in like a while. I'm gonna find something to eat. If that's okay.
I won't stop you.
Okay. Just looks at Oedicus for a second. And then Goblin, try not to get this one into too much trouble.
And back in Goblin, Oedicus responds,
I didn't do it the first time. That was all him.
I like how they're much more coherent in Goblin than they are in Common. I'm really, really enjoying that.
Goblin was his first language. It
Yes,
wasn't common.
Yes, absolutely. Common as a second language, CSL. Yeah. That's Canadian as a second language, isn't it? So,
That's ESLA.
EH, not A, yeah. So Beowulf on the top of this cliff.
Eventually, he just kind of wears it, gets to the point where he's just like done with all the yelling. He probably just sits down and just tries to think of how to get some food that's not going to explode in his face.
Yes. And as if
Does-
to mock you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Did he say anything about there being a dragon, or is all she heard just curses?
Would you have at least you something dragon
Probably
at some
just-
point?
Probably you piece of shit dragon. I hate
Yeah.
you. Fucking hate
Yeah.
you. Something like that.
So you would have
You
heard the
know,
word.
I mean,
yeah.
he will have cursed. He won't have said the dragon's name, but he'll just yell out like, "You red dragon piece of shit."
Yeah, absolutely. So
Things like
yes,
that.
you hear the word dragon. I think is yeah. That's the
You'll hear
trigger
it a
you were
couple
looking for.
Yes.
So yes, rah, rah,
course, he
rah,
doesn't
rah,
know.
dragon, rah, 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 dragon, and then hearing that,
Well, he'll slip into giant a little bit, but most of the time you'll be speaking in infernal.
So while you're still
It's the
ranting,
word from cursive.
so that for that, yes, Kane, you hear the word dragon.
Her
And at
interest
some
is
point,
sparked.
red dragon.
Her interest is definitely sparked. She's gonna walk towards Beowulf.
And as
Now,
you,
to refresh, did you mention wanting food that won't explode at you out loud, or were you just
No.
thinking?
He was just
All right.
thinking.
Bigford said it out loud, though,
All
didn't
right, noted.
Yeah, Bigford said he's foraging right now.
Yeah.
Because yes, you've been in this
Um,
valley for a while, so you know if it's berries or fruits or nuts, you can eat it. You just can't eat anything that's alive; it blows up. So, yeah.
Well, her interest has been sparked, so she's gonna walk towards Beowulf.
And you see,
Again,
Yeah.
like coming towards them with caution,
sure,
not fear, but she's Kane is definitely like already doesn't like me, so I'm just gonna
Yep.
be wise about this.
Fair play, absolutely. You leave them a little room, stay slightly out of striking range, and as your head sort of crests that ridge, you start by seeing the smoke, which is clearly not clouds; it's smoke, and then the sort of ash layer, and this top of this mountain covered in soot, a little flicker of red flame every now and again, as you continue to walk up and see more and more of it. Beowulf's been focused entirely on the mountain and the little lick of flame that keeps coming out every time it comes out. The level of profanity goes back up again. You look down the valley and notice two things. I'm not even going to make you roll. You notice you would have to walk, if you wanted to go past this, you'd have to walk right past this mountain. Like there's no way to sneak around this mountain. And the second thing you notice is that there's a ring around the bottom of the mountain of what appear to be villages, because you can just see little wisps of smoke. But they're just little, and they're sort of evenly spaced around the base of this mountain.
So I am getting close. She kind of says so more to herself.
Yep.
But
You see, I'm just going to add this. You see, looking back at the mountain, it's a mountain. How in the hell are you going? Just how?
that's an excellent question.
Meanwhile, just below and behind you, Bigford and Nidicus, standing at the bottom of the hill. The two of them now at the top of the hill, staring down the valley at something. Zultus is in your backpack.
You want to go see what's going on? All right.
And the two of you walk up the ridge and see it. The mountain, the red mountain,
Shit.
and the row of villages, a ring of villages around the base of it. It's as volcano gets. It's, it's the cone.
Bickford out loud, he goes in common. Now, normally I'd be like, that's an employment opportunity, but I don't get that feeling today, and I don't like it. Because normally that's his boss.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that Bickford used to do. He was a mook.
Well, technically it could be work if you're willing to settle for a couple gold pieces.
We broke his boat.
No, I don't mean kill the dragon. That would be stupid. it involves the dragon. But if we do it right, we shouldn't come in contact with the dragon.
That would be preferable. Are you hiring?
I could be.
Sort of looks to Beowulf and Iticus. What do you guys think? We're not exactly at cross purposes here.
Wolf is kind of tuned out the earth at the moment. He's just sitting on the ledge, lost in his own train of thoughts at the moment.
So that's a maybe.
Iticus, would you know what a dragon's hoard is made of? No, okay. Because whether you know if that mountain's full of big shiny would probably change the way you were thinking, but you don't. So,
Exactly.
with that, that's why I was checking.
He doesn't really know anything about dragons.
Fair enough.
He knows trash. He knows a lot about trash, but not dragons.
Oh, when he sees in that chamber, he's going to shit his little metallic self. Oh.
Right.
Yeah, you,
Isn't
oh,
that
that's
what
true.
pants were for? I'm sorry.
Don't ever be sorry. Unless
Don't.
you say something that gets us like shut off of Twitch, and that definitely wouldn't. So, but all four of you now standing on the top of that hill. Iticus, at least is your sort of roguish history inspired? Was Iticus a thief before this? I know they were a rogue, but were they a thief?
Yeah. Not really. They never stole. That's one of their main rules for themselves. They don't ever steal. That's why they go dumpster diving. Because if someone
Right.
doesn't want it,
It's been thrown out.
Then-
Yes, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be terrible for Iticus. I thought it was going to be wonderful. This is going to be awful.
Interesting.
It's getting later in the day. You're not going to get to the mountain or even those villages today. It's going to be one more night in this valley. Had a couple hours left. We can at least get away from the scene of the exploding bison. That herd has to be somewhere. They haven't magically disappeared. They must be in
And
the trees
our-
behind you, sort of getting their shit back together and coming towards you.
Farther away from that, we are the.
Yeah, this is
North.
definitely their field. So from that cliff's face, you start to work your way down into the valley again. The easiest way, as we talked about before, was down by the river. But that means you're right at the bottom of the valley. And it means you're just looking up at two walls of green pine forest with that smell, that almost sharp smell of evergreen trees. The babbling of the water going past you, running from where to where you're not even sure. You're not even sure why it's warm in this valley yet.
Bigfoot's actually of the mind to avoid the river a little bit.
Okay.
More because of the spy stones.
Okay.
So he mentions that. It's like, if we're gonna go, we should probably avoid the river a bit. You know that red jackass is watching us from the rocks in there.
Bad red shiny.
Yeah.
Well, I say we follow the path, but
I'm
stay
thinking-
where we can't really be seen.
Yeah.
That would be
Beowulf,
best either way.
Beowulf,
long as
you're
we
just
don't get
marching with?
lost.
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No worries. I'm done.
Okay. We'll get it. It takes a little while to get everybody in sync, but that's all right. Beowulf, you've been quiet this whole time. What are your thoughts, first of all, in your head? What are your thoughts about this new person? Why don't you trust them?
Beowulf really doesn't trust anyone right away.
Mm-hmm.
He still is a little wary of Bison. I'm a Bigford, excuse me. The Bison too, but yeah.
But they're back there. You're all right.
He's still a little bit wary of Bigford,
Mm-hmm.
but has come to trust him a little bit. Etiquette he's protective over, of
Sure.
course.
Yeah.
It's kind of felt like that fatherly figure type thing.
Yep.
But he's slow to trust. Again, also Zoltus he really doesn't trust much either. He knows he needs to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, with time, he will start to at least not necessarily acknowledge, but speak to and work with Cain.
Sure.
But it's gonna take a while for the trust.
Just not yet. Yeah, I gotcha. All right. So you continue on down the valley, taking what steps you can. Everybody give me no. If you're just walking, tell me your passive perceptions. If you're actively looking for trouble, then give me investigation checks. That's a lot of paranoid players I have created. Makes me very happy.
Oh!
Yeah. Every single one of you chose to paranoid your way down the path.
With animals that explode, like we don't know how far down this goes.
Yep.
We don't know if a squirrel's going to suddenly come at us like a grenade.
So first of all, with these incredible investigations, somebody finally tries a berry. And yes, you can eat things that aren't, you can eat stuff that isn't made out of meat. Everything else blows up. So, and the food is plentiful. So
Bigfoot's
your
like,
hunger,
"Oh,
you can
crap."
assuage your hunger. Beowulf, it does mean being a temporarily vegan wolf, but
He's not happy, but he'll do it.
yeah. Just don't tell any of the other wolves, ever. I also like
So
cantaloupe.
listeners never know.
With these amazing rolls, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Iticus, you see another red stone. This one is not in the water. This one is propped in the area of the branch of a tree and the trunk. It's just propped there, and you can see the eyeball blatant as all get out on it. That's an interesting choice of phrase. As all get out.
He'll run over, pick it up, and just chuck it.
Yep.
Every single one he sees, he is chucking.
And you just, and it crashes to the ground deeper into the forest. It does not break this time because it's it's a pine forest, so it's all pine needles on the ground, but it is heaved out of viewing range. Bigford, you worried about squirrels, as you are. You're looking up instead of down. And you don't see a squirrel, but you do see a raven that seems to be paying particular attention to you. Now, ravens do that, so maybe it's just a raven. But this raven appears to be judging you, not just watching you. Cain and Beowulf. This makes sense. The two of you are sort of as far apart as social contacting will allow. You're sort of at opposite ends of the line as you're moving along. But you both seem to notice at the same time that there is one village that's closer to you than that ring around the bottom of the mountain. If you pushed a couple hours past darkness, you could get there tonight. In fact, so few hours you wouldn't even take a level of exhaustion. But it would mean traveling up this valley at night for a few hours.
I'll let you decide, Cain, if you want to take the lead on it and have Beowulf in the back or the other way around.
I mean, who's to say one of them has to take the lead?
You both see
Because
it.
they both notice.
I mean, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is basically,
Do you want to
I'm
react
thinking
first?
like lying, like they have it up there.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming Beowulf is being his usual poutiness and is in the front.
Yeah.
And when he notices
Yeah.
it, he doesn't really say much. He points it out and just kind of starts heading towards that direction.
Yeah.
And hopes that the others will follow. If they don't, he'll come back to him.
So yeah, just as you were
Kane-
starting to point, Kane, you see it as well. So,
Kane is gonna notice. So she notices the closer village, knows they can get there
Yeah.
in time, and sees Beowulf go and just kind of follows behind, and is going to say to the rest of the group, "There's a village we can get to by tonight if we want to stay somewhere instead of finding camp."
now that it's been pointed out,
shouldn't
the
take
other
too
two
long.
of you see it. Yeah. Just the smoke.
Bickford doesn't take his eyes off the raven. But he's like, yeah, the sooner we're out of this valley. And then he takes a couple of berries that he had with him and he leaves them at the base of the tree in case the crow wasn't some asshole familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important to be nice to ravens because they carry grudges.
Yes. So you put a
Yeah.
couple of berries down. As you walk away and you kind of glance back, the raven flies down from the tree branch it was on, never taking its eyes off you, which is not how ravens normally fly. Like it's flying this way and looking at you that way. I don't know why I made fighter plane noises, but it swoops down and lands at the berries and kind of flicks them back and forth with its beak a couple times, and then just looks up at you, shakes its feathers, and launches and flies off into the forest. It did not eat them. Give me an insight check, a probably magical raven for me.
So
I
I'm
thought
not
he was about to hit a
expecting
tree
much.
branch.
4. Nothing.
or it's a
Absolutely
bird.
nothing. No, the bird. No, the bird, dignified, flies into
It's
a
not
tree.
even a raven. It's like a seagull or something.
It's a seagull with a tan.
Yeah.
But yes, it flies off into the forest. You have no idea why it didn't eat the berries.
He's like, I guess he's more of a seed guy.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
But yeah. He's definitely also of the mind of let's just push towards
Get to
The
the
town
village. I see
first.
noddings. You sort of pick up your step and stride. Beowulf, you're always first, right? Like it was Bison said in chat, the dog always has to go first. Out in front peeing on stuff.
I don't think he'd be doing that. But yeah, he's not fine.
He would be if I was playing him, but it's probably a good thing I'm not. Everything smells
no.
like
Leave that to
Beowulf
Guy, okay?
pee. Yeah. Yeah, he peed on stuff too. The four of you push on. I'm trying to have a serious episode here, and I keep fucking it up. We killed somebody in this episode. Damn it!
Will there ever be a serious
No
session
No,
ever?
that's the final
Probably not.
punchline ever.
No.
We took Storm King's Thunder, which is a
Exactly.
pretty serious campaign, and we've made it very, very silly, and left it in the dust. So never
It's
mind.
the group. It's
It's
the
all-
group.
We're gonna just have fun, right? If you're not having fun, why do it? And if you're just going to read the book and do what it says in the book, yes, that's fun the first time you do it, maybe even the second time. I've been in parts of Storm King's Thunder about 9 times now, so I'm not doing it the same anymore. So, piss on a tree here, it crumbles from the mountain. Yeah. Yeah. Consider it yours. That's a gift. That's a gift from me to you. The four of you push on into the darkness. Beowulf first. Beowulf, give me another investigation check with advantage, because this one you're smelling.
He has advantage anyway.
We could add them
And
together.
insert open mouth, insert foot. So
Yes. As you're working forward and sniffing the night sky, you don't really. There's a vague smell of sulfur in the air. You remember that
Which he
before
already knows what that
is
is.
associated with the red dragon. Exactly.
Mhm.
You move forward. The darkness comes. The forest changes because they do at night. For that weird magical hour as the sun is going down and the shadows are getting long. And the shadows in a pine forest are really strange because the trees are in perspective. And you take that and put it in perspective of the long shadows. And it gets weird. It's hard to tell what up and down is. Especially because you're climbing little valleys and hills and turning little corners. And you're trying to be careful and you're trying to be safe and you're trying to watch for magic ravens. And it's difficult. But you keep moving forward. Who's bringing up the rear?
Probably Beckford.
That's kind of what I saw in the video in my head. You hear behind you cracking and banging. Something big but wild is moving through the forest behind you. Clearly following you. It's making no effort to be quiet.
Guys.
We all
Bill's
have
gonna
night
stop
vision,
moving
right?
around.
Yeah,
Dark
Beckford.
vision?
Hold on.
Dark vision, 120 feet.
Right, you've got the 120, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody else here, I
I've
think,
got
has
the
got
none.
60. You've got none, that's right. Yeah, because wolves don't, strangely enough. So,
And I'm a human on top of that.
yes, so as it's getting dark, you are just simply losing the ability to see anything.
It's not hampering him much considering he can probably navigate by smell for the most part.
That, plus, you're still all close together and you're more or less following the trail. And there's a moon out. It's not, black. I just need to see how far you can see. But yeah, like you said, their smell is going to make up for their lack of vision.
Mhm.
Either way, there's a big thing crashing through the trees behind you, and Bison, you say something. Or sorry, Bickford, you say something. That's twice tonight. Something weird.
I've even got it in Zoom, Beckford.
I know, and I looked right at it and said the wrong word.
Yeah, the first one was me.
Bickford's going to warn the group, pull out the morning skull, and start to see if he can see behind,
Kane's gonna look behind and see if
Yes.
she can see anything with
You-
her
the second you do.
pretty decent vision.
Exactly. You turn around and see Bickford staring into the darkness, kind of. Bickford, you can't see anything in that 60 feet. There's, you can hear something, but it's further away than that. Kane, you see just out of that range. Clearly smart enough to know what range that some of these things can see at night. Like, this is a professional hunting beast. And first you see the flicker of the light off the eyes, then the claws, then one of the wings. It's a wyvern. Wyvern, however you like to pronounce them.
That can't be good. We gotta go.
3 feet tall, 3.5 feet tall at the shoulders, hunched forward, staring at Bison.
Beckford.
Did it again. Bigford. Now I have to do 2 nice things for him before next week. In game. Yeah. That's my unwritten house rule. But yes. Wyvern, why? I know. I want to call them all Vern so they can have a really confusing conversation.
Why, Vern? Why?
This is over the hedge. No comment.
Yes. But yes, you are the only one that can see this wyvern in the trees sneaking up behind you.
She's gonna look the wyvern in the eyes.
Yep.
We have company. Small, but unexpected company nonetheless.
As you make eye contact and start to talk, it starts to scurry up a tree like a giant squirrel. up into the foliage. And a couple seconds later, you hear
That's not a bear.
as it flies away into the darkness.
If she follows the direction it went, can she still see it?
You see clear as day. They might be a hunter, but they're not smart. If they're going home, home is that mountain. Home is Red Mountain. Which now that you look down the valley again, even from the bottom, you can't see the mountain above the trees, but you can see the red glow in the distance.
Oh dear.
Well, I went towards that mountain. So, an adventure for later, I guess.
All the more reason to get the heck out of here. Let's go already. If they're gone, let's not worry about it.
They are the blessed of Clouth, and come and go as they please.
Who the crap
You
was
hear
that?
out of the darkness.
What?
It was I, a dendrite of Clouth.
What the heck?
Stepping into dark vision range, you see a human, very poorly clad, like just a cheap robe. Looks like it's itchy and uncomfortable. Unkempt hair and beard. Frighteningly thin. Ascetic to say the least. Possibly dying levels of thinness. But there's a look of peace on the face.
Oh, here's the call.
We prefer organization.
Uh-huh. It's like I've worked for dragons before. I know how it works. There's always the army, minions, and the cult.
Kaya is just gonna, like, look at this dude blankly. She has her hand on her dagger.
Mhm.
She's like, we have places to be, so could we hurry this up?
Where is it you wish to go? I am a expert in this area.
To town.
Come then. Be our guests. The guests of Clouth.
Insight. Can I insight check?
You absolutely can. Anybody else? Anything they want to do at this moment?
Etiquette wants to just disappear.
Okay, give me a stealth check. There's plenty of places to hide. 18, you're gone. Yep, they're not looking.
Balls.
6, okay. They appear to be
Awesome.
weird. They're weird, but not dangerous, as far as you can tell. Oh, Bickford on
Great.
point.
Fucking
Absolutely on Bickford's game. A 5 insight. No clue. Nice dude. You've just met him in the darkness of the forest. He must be wonderful.
Well, I already don't trust him to begin with because
Well, yeah. I mean,
the
yeah,
cult.
don't let an insight check change the obvious
Yeah.
thing that you just read a freak in the dark. But,
yeah.
yeah, you can't
Bill was
read.
just trying to intimidate.
You can't. You can't read any nastiness coming off of them. They appear
Yeah.
to be harmless. Beowulf, 18. Wow. How do you intimidate this person? I mean, you probably just walk close in the darkness, but still.
He's kind of basically follow the line of vision where everybody else is looking because obviously he can't see
Yep.
shit. He's gonna walk forward. He's gonna pull down the hood,
Yeah.
let his natural ears come out. And he's kind of, like how dogs just like growl and look intimidating.
Yeah.
Kind of just do that. Get it, but obviously he's standing, so he's just like, he's got his claws out and he's just kind of looking like your classic werewolf monster.
I am going to give them a roll to a try. I mean, it's probably not going to happen. It's an 18, but 13, yeah. That completely calm exterior kind of cracks for a moment, and they step back. It is unnecessary to do violence. please, we offer you guest status.
What's the catch? You gonna
Yes.
tell your boss we're here and he's gonna come and eat us in the morning?
And is this guest status we can't get anywhere else?
You are free to come and go as you please. You are free persons. And to answer your question, she already knows you're here. Pointing at Bickford for that last bit. I think that's the first time anyone has used the female pronoun in reference to Klauth.
I think so.
I just talked to the boat, man.
The boat was only a
Bigford only
part
likes
of
to
Klauth.
talk to boats.
Yes. Well, actually, it was the elemental that kind of had a thing for
Yeah.
large,
Well,
hairy,
when,
balding men.
When Klauth,
Bigford for boats. 2022.
well, when Klauth made the deal with Bickford to keep an eye on the boat, it was the boat that talked to him.
Yep. The boat is just like an element of this
And he was high on drugs. at the time.
ancient
He
dragon.
literally
Yes,
thinks
you
it was
were,
the
yeah.
boat that was talking to him.
That is true. So, scared out of his mind, but still gesturing towards the village behind him. Please. Or stay out here in the darkness, as is your wont, and starts to turn to walk away.
I was gonna head towards the village again.
Okay. The rest of you? Nope, fuck this. We're staying here. Story's over. Night.
I mean,
You
You
can go
haven't
anywhere.
told
I
us
don't care where
much.
you go. You go camp in the trees. I don't care what you do.
you
Bickford's
haven't really told us much about yourself. How do we know we can trust you?
I can be trusted because I have taken the oath of Klauth. I will be told what to do by Klauth. And when I am told, I will do what I am told.
Including kill us.
If that were ordered, yes.
Hmm.
Or I would do my
Kind
best.
of unknowing
Yeah.
or not really understanding religion
Yeah.
as a concept.
Fair enough.
What does he mean?
they're obsessed
Like just
with the dragon.
so deadpan,
Yeah.
but she's confused.
Bickford's like, well, it's a free bed. Might as well. And before everybody, or as everyone's taking off, he's just going to say into the darkness in Goblin, don't follow us. Stay outside of the town. Just be careful.
In Goblin, he'd hear back.
Humans, very, very bad. Please don't go.
I don't trust him either. We'll be fine. That's why we got you.
Okay.
Neither one of you has message, right?
I do actually.
So you used that, so you didn't have a whole conversation in front of other people, even though it wasn't
Yes.
Goblin. Still talking to the trees and having the trees talk back would have been tiny bit suspicious.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're going to, you used
say I did
message.
that.
Yeah. Wait, can Inikus respond? He doesn't have any spells.
Yes, Iticus can respond.
You can always
as the
respond.
recipient.
Technically, it's
Okay.
25 words each way, right?
That's sending.
Well, that's sending, right. Yeah, this is just a message, as long as you can see them, basically. With a few exceptions to that, even. Still, yes, you had that conversation by way of message and not...
I could have had that conversation as we walked in. So
Yep. So, with that, Iticus, are you staying in the shrubberies?
I am not going into town. I am not going near humans.
Okay. Fair
Uh,
enough. Wow. Okay. Well then, let's go into town first with the three of you. You follow this host of yours into this tiny village. It's ramshackle is the only word. It's bits of wood tied together with bits of leather strapping or whatever else they could find. Fibers, not really ropes even, just vines that have been used in place of ropes. Every bit of wood is burned, charred, blackened. Everything on the ground is charcoaled. The few more people that you see, now that you see them with a tiny bit of light, there's a very small fire in the middle of this village. And as they walk into the light, you can see them themselves covered, apparently intentionally, with soot.
As we get through the look of the town, Bickford says in common, just sort of offhandedly, this place isn't even worth raiding. And yeah, he's not impressed. He knows that this is like, we get to the center and he looks to the guy that led us here. He's like, does she use you for target practice?
And what is clearly a ritual motion, before responding, they bend down and get a little bit of soot from the central fire and kind of touch it up and look up at you. We are used as she wishes to use us. Some are for fodder, some are for labor. Her love for us is infinite.
This is worse than a marriage.
I think you mean better
She says
than,
very quietly.
Yeah, I think you mean better than, I left a marriage for this.
Oh my.
Bugbears don't have a concept of marriage. She's just like, whatever.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Right?
Our second finest shelter awaits you. And they signify a lean-to that's over on one side of the fire. It's upwind of the fire, and it appears to have a cloth, at least, if not a tarp, over the wood, so it's more windproof than most of what else is in this town. There is one other, almost looks like a shack, like it qualifies for shack status. It's just got a leather flap for a door, but it's got 4 walls and a flat roof. That's the only thing that's better built than what they just put you in. When you are ready, you may rest there. You may, of course, partake of the soot as well.
Will pass. Soot is for funerals.
But it is always the day for someone's funeral. I digress. Rest well, and we will see you in the morning. Perhaps Clouth has plans for you, after all. Perhaps you are so blessed. I'm just
Are we
watching
gonna
player
get time to
faces here.
decide?
Yeah,
Or-
Bickford's face just soured, like completely.
Mhm. To give you a
And,
moment, your host, who you still haven't asked for their name, has turned and walked away towards the biggest building, the nicest building, the shack.
Bickford watches the gaze, just watches them follow, or follows the blah. Words and English. Okay.
Bickford's face falls off.
Yeah. Apparently he was really tired.
Weird,
Follows,
looks like a bison under there. Put that back on.
Yeah. Bickford sort of follows them as he's putting his pack down. He doesn't look like he's going to sleep in the lean-to.
Yep.
You might leave that for Kane, but his demeanor went from, kind of wary but any port in a storm to, if anyone looks at me funny, they're getting a fist.
Prepared to punch a Hare Krishna if necessary. That's kind of the mindset I focus these people on. So. Okay.
I kind of had a Doonesbury vibe from this, so yeah.
Yeah, so you're in that mode. Beowulf, you've had a long day, a very untrustworthy sort of day, and here you are in a place that there's no way you can trust what's going on here. What do you do?
He's following that dude that led him there.
Okay. So you're also heading towards the house along Bickford. You were going to the lean-to, right? But you're not
Yeah, I
going
was
in,
going
sort of
to
thing?
jobs.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Beowulf is following the dude. And that brings us to Kane. These people you just met this afternoon are now split to the winds. One's going that way, one's going that way, one's still hiding out in the forest. If you don't do something, you will very soon be standing alone in the center of this weird little town in the middle of the night, in a valley owned by a dragon that you have wished to see something happen to. I don't want to spoil anything. What are you thinking, and then what do you do?
She's like, damn, they really need to sort out their communication. Because at the moment, everyone is in a different place.
Yep. I have achieved my goal again, and I have split a party of 4 into 4 different groups, and I am so happy.
A monster. And
You'll get used to
just,
Yeah.
I'm not really phased. Before either of them are too far from her, she's just gonna say, it's unwise to split apart. We should probably stick together. It's safer
Bickford,
that way.
He kind of has a bit of a knowing smirk on his face, considering how long we've been doing this. He's like, we're never too far apart. Starters.
We can hear
Secondly,
each other.
we have confidence in each other's abilities. Corfell's like,
Oh, poor Corfell.
I know.
Kane, you hear a voice out of the darkness behind you, because they sort of spread out this way, and Idicus is still out of town. But you hear a voice from this little sort of, you didn't even think it was a place of an abode. It looks like a stump, but apparently somebody has dug out underneath it and is living under there. And you hear this voice say, yeah, people get weird in this town real quick.
I can tell.
I wouldn't stay here
Try to
very
elaborate.
Yeah, I wouldn't stay here very long. I used to live here. I used to be a hunter here. I left to seek my fortune. I didn't fucking find it, so I came back. And now they're all like zombies.
Does this have anything to do with this, and for everyone else's sake, not me, because I definitely remember. What was the name?
well,
The dragon?
It started with a C.
Klauth.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Does
Doesn't.
that have something to do with this Clouth?
Everything in this valley has something to do with Klauth. What's your take on this? Why are you here? Death Wish?
You know, that would be a bit more interesting. I'm kidding. Like,
Okay.
she
Yeah.
tries to crack a joke,
Yeah.
but it doesn't go through because she is not very expressive.
Sure.
I know
The
some
opposite,
person would love you.
actually. Searching to find something so that I can, well, why am I sharing this with you?
I'm naturally easy to talk to.
She's just
I'm,
like-
yeah.
She's just like, wait, I don't know this person at all.
They step out of the darkness, and you realize two things. One, they were lying about who they were. There's no way this is a hunter. They're dressed too nice. Their hands are clean, and there's no calluses. And as they step out, they say, that's because I have abilities. People like to talk to me. And you see a lute hanging across their back.
Why's that?
Well, usually because I pretend I'm buying the drinks. There's this trick I know where I give you a coin and I keep it. You don't get it. Probably not your thing. I buy the drinks most of the time.
Oh shit.
All right.
Yeah. Forget the dragon. You just found a bard.
Well, you didn't buy me a drink, so I think this may conclude our conversation.
No place to buy a drink around here, although, and he pulls out a little silver flask and kind of gives it a shake, and you hear it's about half full. Oh, here. Oh, it's awful, but it's not poison.
Insight check.
Go right ahead. You learn quickly. Don't trust him when he's smiling, but he's always smiling.
Why?
I know. What did you roll? It's taking a while to
Why
come
did
up.
I roll?
There it is.
Did I roll twice?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, I accidentally rolled
Oh.
twice. I don't know what I'm
Ouch.
doing.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Might be double
Okay.
clicking.
I'm going to play with this. You look him right in the eyes, and for a split second, it's like, this is a pickup. This is a con artist, pure and simple. This is like, there's something in that drink. And then you go, no, wait, that's just me being paranoid. Look at his face. He's probably pretty trustworthy. And in the end, you have no idea whether you should trust him or not.
And why are you talking to me? She's gonna, like, she's not taking the flask just yet. She's like, I don't think I should trust it. Especially with her life experience.
And he kind of puts the little cork on his stick back in the top of it and puts it in his pocket. It's probably for the best. I'm here 'cause that big red fucker on the hill wiped out a whole town that I spent years taking over.
Interesting.
I can't hurt him. Her. I just found out when I got here. I can't hurt her. It's an ancient red dragon. It's older than rock. I came here loaded in rage and stupidity.
So, the plan would be to avoid.
I want to hurt her. I just
How would
don't
you
know
do that? Do you
how.
know? Hmm. Why?
I could say I was fond of the people that died. But you seem like a more logical person than that. You see, I read people pretty well sometimes. I lost a ton of money when that bitch burned my town down, and I'm fucking angry about it.
Hmm. So, this money you lost, say there was a place you could go. Probably quite dangerous, keep in mind, where you could get things worth a fair bit of money.
They start pointing at the mountain as you're speaking. The Horde.
the Horde.
You're about to like me a whole lot more. He pulls the flask back out and flips it open and sort of hands it towards you and says, I know where the back door is.
She's gonna smell it. Like, is this something I can trust?
Give me a investigation check as you investigate the man's liquor.
Please, I'm begging.
How much of this do I hear from the lean-to?
Mutterings.
Mutterings.
You see
But I can
somebody step out, very
I can see
well dressed,
talking
somebody
to
who
somebody.
does not fit in this town. Step out
There
and have a
we
quick
go.
conversation.
That's
21.
better.
Yeah. Let's
It's-
go.
It's gin, so at the best of times, and it's homemade gin, but there's nothing toxic in it other than the gin.
You smell the forest, you smell the gin. it's
Junipers.
exactly
It
the
smells
same.
like juniper trees. That's I can't understand gin as a drink. I just like
Oh.
juniper bush. Cat pee. No, they all smell the same. But there's no poison in it. It is liquor, homemade.
She's gonna take some. It doesn't taste great, but
Oh, it
She doesn't really care.
burns. It's high alcohol
drink's a
content.
drink.
It just sort of disappears in your mouth. By the time it gets to here, it's not even a liquid anymore. It's just a gas that you swallow. Yeah, and it's a a little bit like gas, like petrol sort of fumes.
I am the dragon.
Yes. So you, you hand it back to him, and he says, even I'm not stupid enough to go up there at night, and you probably need a rest. So the morning, the mountain,
Yeah. Although I do have some people I need to talk to.
oh shit, they don't know. Good luck with that. Good luck. And he starts crawling back under his log. Somehow without getting dirty.
They didn't really ask. She just kind of says to herself. She's gonna walk towards Bigford. I almost said Bison.
Yeah, so you walk towards Bigford. Bigford, you saw this conversation. You're the only one that did. I'm going to say that Beowulf was heading the other way following the... Thank you so much, Hellhounds. You have been the band hammer all night. Thank you. That's at least 4, I think. But thank you. I haven't had time. I've been over here being serious.
When she gets over, she'll notice that there's clearly enough space for her under the lean-to. Bigford's taken a spot a little bit farther away.
Okay.
And he assumes Beowulf's just going to sleep, going to curl up like a dog anyway. So,
Yeah.
So when she comes over, Bigford looks up to her. He's like, "You're just making all sorts of friends today."
I wouldn't say friends. Some of them could be. You never know.
Such is life. So, what do you have to say?
Well, during introductions, I never really said what I was after. I feel like if we wanted to lean towards friendship, whether you do or not, I don't mind. Should be honest. I have an item. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say Bickford's body language is kind of just fairly neutral. You can tell he's tired. He's really looking forward to sleep, but he's also really interested in what you have to say.
Okay. I have an item that I need. And the only place I can find it, considering there's only one, is up in that dragon's hoard. Now, I know it's dangerous, but I trust that if we play our cards right, we could do it.
Now, It doesn't matter for me, but was this item yours to begin with?
No, but it's gonna help me get something of mine back.
The kid's gonna be a tough sell. He's got morals. And yeah. But oh wait. Sorry.
Sorry,
It's all
there's a
good.
knock at my door.
That's okay.
All good. I may have mentioned
I'm not a
earlier.
big fan of big scaly things that like to tell everybody what to do and expect them to just do it. I expect to get paid. I'm in. Because this could be fun. I haven't gone on a heist in years.
Thank you.
Beowulf. Outside. You follow this person, the only one that's made contact with any of you. And just as they get to their little house, their shack, they stop like they've just realized they're being followed and turn and look at you. That was the area you were intended to sleep. And they gesture towards the lean-to.
So,
Where is it you wish to retire for the evening?
just trying to find out what my intentions are. Nothing more.
I have no intentions until I am told them by Klaus.
So in other words, a big F you. Lovely. Wonder how many of these people I could kill before Koth decides they want to show themselves.
I would suspect you could probably kill us all. There are many dendrites following Klaus.
You do your thing, I'll do mine. I'm gonna just find a nice patch of grass. You do whatever. I'm bored. He walks off.
There is an area over by the well that you might find comfortable. And it is like it's mostly moss, but it's almost grass, but it's really the only one that's sitting there. The only grass in the area.
Yeah, well, yeah, he eventually finds it, of course.
And you curl up after spinning around 32 times in a circle first.
Yeah, kind of do the little dog thing. But,
Yep, the little dog dance.
again, I'm on all four at this point because just tired and while still trying to keep an eye on my surroundings. Yeah, he does fall asleep.
Which brings us to Idicus. Alone in the wilderness. Little town just up ahead of you. You see your friends go in, and because of the layout, you can still see them. Because, they're at the layout, they're at the lean-to, and you see Beowulf walk off with somebody and then go find a place to lay down. You can literally see them all in the light from the campfire. You can also hear stuff and critters moving around in the dark around you, because it's night and stuff and critters move around in the dark. You also can't help noticing a very pale red glow notched in a branch of a tree.
I was gonna climb up a tree anyways to so that I could see everything.
Yep.
So I'll climb up, find the bad shiny.
Here's the thing. As you get close to see the bad shiny, this is the first one you've seen at night. And instead of the eye looking at you, the stone is turned the other way. The pointy end is at you. And you kind of line up your eye, and you can see through it. You're not close enough to see. It's like the thing on your door, like the security loop on your door. You'd have to get much, much closer to look through it, but it looks for all the world like that's what that does.
I'll pick it up and I'm being very careful this time because I
Yes.
remember the last time.
Yep. Mhm.
Last time a shiny
People,
did
that's
this
the one,
type
yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And I'll try and look through it as carefully as possible.
Give me a perception check. I want to see how much you see. 13. Perfect. That's perfect Idicus roll for this. You see like a drone shot flying down the side of a dragon. But it takes forever. But you can see the wall behind the dragon is really buzzing. This is moving along. You said you don't know much about dragons. This dragon is bigger. Like from this shot and your perspective, this dragon is like as big as a city. It's as big as the town you started in that had the dragons in it, or the giants in it. You just keep flying and flying and flying, and finally you get to the back leg, and then, oh my God, there's at least as much tail left. It goes out of focus in both directions. It's so big. And it's sitting in it's kind of curled. It curls up more as you watch. And the drone sort of pulls up and away so you can see it from the top. And it curls up like a cat with its tail around its nose, finally resting after a day of screaming and yelling into the sky. And it's laying in a nest of half-melted gold coins, with platinum coins and silver coins and electrum coins sticking out, forming sort of a rough surface because they haven't quite melted from the heat. But the gold is getting squishy and settling. Off to one side, you all of a sudden are looking out of the dragon's eye itself. It opens an eye as if it's almost aware of you. And it turns to look down its body, and you feel a sense of ownership as it looks at a room, a cave, that is full from side to side. 3 Idicuses deep in the center of gems. Just shiny rocks. No gold, no silver. Just a mountain of shinies.
But I can tell it's theirs.
It's absolutely, the sense of ownership was
They claim it.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's theirs, but the dragon claims it.
It's currently,
Yeah.
yeah. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You tell the dragon it's yours.
He's very unsure what to do. And so, yeah, it's gonna have to be in common because I don't think it speaks goblin or giant. He'll just say,
No fight. Can talk?
And there is a rumble in what passes for Idicus's brain. I don't mean that rudely. I mean, I don't know what a Warforged has for a thinking process.
Yeah.
Especially a Goblin Warforged. I really don't know how that works in there. But whatever passes for your mind rumbles and shakes. And it's like a mind quake. The response, and you're getting one, is too big. It's like it's too loud to hear. It's too big to see. It's just too much.
I too little. I can't understand.
And it just keeps coming and coming, and you're looking down into this red stone, and it's just...
if it looks like it's going to jump into my other socket, I will.
Not so much that, but it's like something's coming, like in a second something's going to come through it. The thought, whatever is making these thoughts, and whatever, this dragon is somehow going to come through it.
He will scamper down the tree as fast as possible and kind of put it down
Yeah?
and just step back and kind of watch.
And it goes dark, but you watch as a little bit of smoke rises around it. Like it's gotten very, very hot. And then it starts to melt. It's like watching sugar candy melt in water, but this is a ruby the size of your fist. Just you see in the distance a dull red flare, and another one, and another one, and another one. And the whole valley, as far as you can see in all the directions, lights up like red fireflies. As every one of these eyes of Clouth shuts off. You get one last clear thought, and it is an Iticus thought. This is not the dragon's thought. She didn't know. I'm not supposed to be able to get there from here.
He'll scamper back up the tree, try and find one so that he can still see his friends.
Yep.
And kind of watch over them. And he'll take out Fred and the Zulthus Fred and hug them both. And in Goblin, he's just gonna say,
I don't know what to do. I really wish you were here.
Who is that aimed at?
Zulthus.
Not Alan.
Yes. You feel a cold, wriggly hand try and grab your shoulder, like he's trying to support you, but the fingers go right through.
So like Alan would.
No, like Zulthus does. You realize it's it's yes, it's like Alan would, but when you look, it's Zulthus's black, non-existent fingers. And that is where we will drop the curtain on tonight. Wow. Thank you all. That was okay. It's self-horn tooting time. That was a really cool episode. I really enjoyed every second of that. You guys made that really special. Thank you. That was awesome. You know, they're all good, but some of them, some of them stand out, and that one was one of them. Thank you. Wow. Speaking of the thank yous, let's get right to them because my brain is blown all over the place. Thank you so much, Sarah. Iticus is just growing by the session. There's more and more to them. Everything I throw at you, you take and you just build. And we're creating... Well, I'm giving you stuff and you decide what goes into it. And you're making this amazing little Iticus for us. And I'm finally starting to get Iticus. I'm finally starting to understand what I need to know to really understand Iticus. That's why I got you kind of tonight. But yes, we're there. We're moving along. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I should call you Bickford now. I called you Bison so many times during the friggin' game. Bison, thank you for joining us. Thank you for Bickford, the bugbear that cares. The bug care bear? Oh, that's terrible. Sorry I gave you that. Next thing I have to burn on you is a big heart shape on your front that never grows back.
Care bugbear?
Yes, care
That's
bugbear.
still bad.
Yes.
Well, I was the.
I feel like
drug
that's still bad.
bear. I was the drug bear for a while.
Yes, you were. But thank you so much for bringing Bickford again. This deepening of characters. You know what this is all about? Character development for me. I love these character arcs, and I'm really enjoying what's going on with Bickford. So thank you for bringing that very, very much. And
He is
everybody
so
tune in on
much
Tuesday
fun.
and watch him play Cyberpunk and get angry at things. It's great fun.
Watch me get mad at doors.
I was watching you the other night and I thought there's a reason I don't play these games. It's because you spend too much time running around from place to place and it drives me nuts. It's
That
like
is my
Skyrim.
fault. I can't help it because there is a stat attached to your stamina drain. So the more stamina you drain, the more your athletics goes up. And yeah, so I can't.
All right. Okay, so you're actually building your character. It's grinding your character to walk
Yes,
slowly
it is
down a
the-
street for 20 fucking
That is
minutes.
a Morrowind.
But anyway,
Running and jumping.
but thank you for coming here where we covered an entire valley in one day because I thought it was a good time to do it. So thank you. Oh. Solar Dasher. I hope, beyond hope, two things. One, that you finally get to friggin' stream this week. I really do. And two, I really hope that Beowulf never stops being Beowulf. I don't trust you. You don't smell right. I've been with these two for weeks and I don't turn my back on them, so don't hope for much. Beowulf from the very beginning has been stalwart and believable and just utterly committed to the cause, but no way do they trust anybody. And it's really cool to see it. And then the dog element that comes along with that, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing it with us, to us. And I hope we bring you a couple hours a week where at least you don't have to worry about work. So,
Yes.
and finally, oh, Ruth, that was so much fun watching your face. I love new players because I get to see new responses. And I watch everybody all night, but it was a joy to add you to the list tonight. Kane is amazing. Kane could be anything from the savior of the universe to a complete sociopath, and I don't know yet. That calmness
And you
just
won't.
no, that's the best part.
You'll
That-
never know.
that calmness just hides what's going on inside, and I love it. You, in one session, you gave us
Both
a
of you too assume there's
very-
anything going on inside.
Yeah. But in one session, you showed us exactly who they are without giving away any secrets. So, from a sheer acting point of view, well done. And thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. The pace we're
I'm
going.
so glad I got to join.
The pace we're going, we're looking at least 3 more weeks, as I should have expected. But yeah, so we will see. Oh, there's 2 more thank yous left. I didn't do them yet. My goodness, almost broke the magic. The magic includes thanking chat. Hellhound specifically, I'm going to call you out tonight because you nuked like 5 or 6 or 7 of them bot things tonight. The only thing I can say to that, you just did another one. But the only thing I can say to that is if we're actually attracting bots, we must be doing okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take that all night. Thank you also for posting the Discord. See, these are the coordinated people and the people that think clearly in our group that are covering my
People make
ass
us
over
look
here
good.
in chat. Thunderscape, thank you. That is the Discord community. If you would like to join what is probably the nicest Discord on the internet, come join us at 3020 Gaming. What the hell? We're already tooting horn tonight, so let's do it. The link is over there in the chat. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, mods, from somebody who is first-time chat from a viewer. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now I got to add a new thank you to all the lurkers and ex-lurkers in the case of this particular person. Thank you for watching as well. And there is one more that I almost forgot. Those of you that have watched all the way to this point on YouTube, when I finally remember to put it up there, please hit that like button down at the bottom, because if you watched almost 2 hours of it, you must have liked it. So hit the button, and we will see you all next time. But until then, as always, finger hearts all over the place, and please be nice to each other. Good night.